Hey kids, it's Jurassic James, and Jurassic Explains looking at Einiosaurus. This is actually my favorite ceratopsian. I can't tell you scientifically why, I just like it a lot. I remember the first time I saw it in a book, I was like, that's my guy. The name of Einiosaurus means buffalo lizard. It's, of course, the saurus in the Latin means lizard or reptile. The Ainea is from the indigenous people from Montana. They're only found in Montana, well, what we now call Montana. And that means buffalo, basically, with other, there's the Blackfoot people. So the idea here is that they've mixed two languages just to get one name. Now, same will apply. We have an older model, newer model here. Of course, when I saw this, there was an individual package one from Jurassic World, but I just somehow missed it. And so it came out with this vehicle, so now we're all together. So the first one I'll point out here is this animal, the remains we have were discovered, at least recognized, were in 1990, but the name itself wasn't actually coined in 1995. So something we see a lot of times in paleontology, you hear about an animal's name being published or when it first showed up, but they found it 2 or 3 years before that, maybe even longer, and they weren't really sure what it was or wasn't really researched yet, so that's not uncommon to have a 5-year gap like that. So the first one I would have actually show you is a dinosaur train. And I always tell people think, when I was training tour guides, I would tell them, watch Dinosaur Train. And they're like, that's a kid's show. And I'm like, yeah, but it's actually educational. It actually gives the point. So that was an endorsement from on my part. And so this Einiosaurus figure, I don't know the character's name. I don't remember all that. Information's really fun for new people starting out in paleo. But again, the main thing to point out is this kind of hooked over nose. In the horned dinosaur, the ceratopsians, we have two major branches. Essentially the centrosaurine, or these guys, usually have bigger nose horns and less, no really brow horns, like the triceratops, and their frill's a little bit different, usually more rounded. And the other type, the chazosaurines, which are the more longer frill, and I've mentioned this over and over in other videos, so I'm not going to rehash it again. But the whole set, actually I have a ceratopsian video I'll put below. And so the idea with Einiosaurus is that this shows all those major traits. Now, in general with ceratopsians, we see on average the back feet, the hind limbs, having essentially 4 digits. So there's like 3 like this, and like that for the foot, right? Sometimes this one here is a little off the ground, sometimes on the ground, depending on the species. For the front limbs, you have 3, always at least 3 clawed, four like the fingers, and they're usually bigger. And they have either 4th or 5th. The 5th is always never clawed. 4th is usually not clawed, but it's really small. So it's kind of longer, like this will make my thumb bigger. That's like kind of this design. This guy was given essentially 5 full toes, and they're like kind of like an elephant but with clawed. So that's kind of a generic thing you'll see with most ceratopsian toys, unless they have like a scientific advisor or something. Which brings me to the 2017 Safari. Actually, this is a 2017 Collect Day. So the same time, same year, with 2 different companies. Both are amazing animals. The feathers you see here on the Collect A figure, that one, we have found feathers on Psittacosaurus, their ancestor, in Liaoning, China, or a relative ancestor. So it's not unusual to see feathered ceratopsian figures sometimes. This one, of course, is more the traditional. We have like this, we notice there's where reptile scales today, lizards and snakes, they overlap like this. Dinosaur scales are like floor tile, they side by side, whereas reptile scales overlap like roof tile. Dinosaurs have floor tile, they're side by side. And so what we see in ceratopsian skins, we found that you have like these light, tiny scales, and usually a big scale every so often, right? So you're seeing that kind of texture here where there's tiny scales, big scales, tiny scales, big scales, like that, right? But the main thing to point out is this right here, this huge hook over nose. Everyone jokes about being a bottle opener and all that. But there were no bottles in the late Cretaceous, North America. Speaking of that, Montana, Campanian age, right? It's about 75 million years ago, roughly. These 2 long horns here are important because when the first remains were found, there's some who thought maybe it was a Styracosaurus. You're like, what's Styracosaurus? It's the guys who are always behind me, these things here. Large horns right there, right? And so that was one interpretation. But with the forelimb on our safari figure, you can see those 3 really big claws, and then those 2 little nubs on the side. And that is ceratopsian perfection. The back foot, you have 3 big ones and a little one on the side. Again, that's showing you what I mentioned earlier. So that's a very common design. And so the idea here is that if you see a deviation from that, scientifically it has to do more with the evolutionary line or environment. But they usually have that same design as all ceratopsians. And of course this one, this is, it's more brightly colored. And so the idea here is that in general, if I were a kid playing in my backyard, this would be, well, I mean the different size scale, but males would also be brighter. We see that a lot in many animals where the male is more elaborate because the female has the, regardless of the mate staying together or not, there is a responsibility to the female to, if they are animals to take care of the young, to take care of the babies, and so you want to generally be more dull to fit in, sometimes bigger to hold all the eggs if you're laying eggs. And so the males are often more shiny and flashy because they're having to display their abilities to be, if you have this big, heavy, colorful frill or something, or spines or whatever, it's showing that I'm healthy. I have, like, for humans, for example, I'm jumping around a lot. For humans, for example, money. It's, how do you know somebody has money? Well, they have a nice watch, or they have a car, or something like that. It's a way to communicate to the opposite members of your sex, same sex, that you're like, hey, I have enough money, resources, I work enough, or we have enough money to afford these nice things. For a dinosaur, it's saying, hey, I have enough energy, I have enough strength to have this big, heavy frill set, right? And so, and of course, you would imagine as animals get older, the horns get bigger and bigger, the colors are more vibrant, whatever, So anyway, that's what you're seeing with these two. These two are very good scientific models. This, again, is the Safari and the Collect A. I think this one's the one I'm using on my website as a picture for the genus. So of course our main event here is this guy here. It's this Jurassic World Jeep, and I'm thinking it's roughly based on somewhat maybe the Humvee. I don't know what it is actually. I'm not a car person. So official sisters Jurassic James. They are unseath. Now funny part is I would just do this and that. And I'm super happy, but the car comes with it, so I should probably pull that out too. So let me get the car out real quick and do the whole toy part, and then back to these guys in this time period. That's a lot going on. Okay, let's see. So, although I don't fault any company for trying to protect their property or their sales inventory, but I don't think anyone was still a vehicle this large. But oh, there's so much going on there. Let's see. You'll have to excuse me for a minute. Here's where I cheat. Oh, there's like this below. So the easiest way to do it, did you see that? Yeah. Is to take that and just twist it, and it comes right off. Do it again over here. It comes right off. It should. Yes, that's it. Okay, and this part comes here. That. Oh, that's a part of the gimmick. Okay, cool. So let me put that over here. All right, so probably assemble this, huh? Let's see. So same with our sauropods. Just plug in that right there. I guess that's what. Okay, so you're catching your. Oh, it came right off. How about that? There's no top or bottom. It's the same on top and bottom, so let us do this. And so you put that there, and you capture your dinosaur. It's reminiscent of the. You reach over here. The Hummer, where they caught the Pachycephalosaurus with like the, and this is from Jurassic Park 2, and you put it and it like that, and it catches Packy as a whole thing in the movie. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, the shadow. Okay, did it open? Did it break? I don't know. That's interesting. Oh, it's supposed to be that way. Good. Oh, no, it's not. I don't know. I don't like that. That's interesting. Anyway, so reminiscent of that, I'm assuming they're basing it on that. Anyway, so there seems to be some kind of gimmick where if you're a dinosaur, I can see what they picked now. The nose hooks straight down. And there's some suggestion that they don't all have that from what they find, but this one hooks down and kind of shoots forward like that. I was like, that I remember seeing. I was like, that's weird. That's because when you hit like this, so yeah, it does that. So the thing here, spring. Oh, did I do it right? No, I put it back. It should be. Yeah. So when you hit that, it to be on the ground. Oh, that's also pretty cool. So you can't just do it in the air. You have to have there's whatever springs reading it, and then you hit that, and it flips. Got it. So now we understand that. Back to our actual animal. Let's see. So this guy has 4 fingers. Now I find it interesting that when like this guy is just like 5 fingers, 5 toes, just no research whatsoever. That will put 4 fingers and 4 toes. Although the inner toe is not smaller, but it's the same size as the others. But that's close enough. Well, for the hand, they'll put 4 large clawed. Actually, 4 claws, and there's no fifth finger. So that's also really interesting that they did that. But overall, you're seeing the major parts now. Obviously, looking at there's the hook on the nose, with these two parts here. There are two horns here, or little hornlets right there, and the other ones inside. These guys, he has less, but they're longer because obviously it's more exciting. Jurassic World, of course. And so the neck goes this way, the head goes up and down. There's no sense of, there's no other gimmick than that. It's just the head goes up and down. And then you pull this out and you get your DNA code like that. Again, I always complain about ceratopsians having dinosaur toys having short tails because of packaging and everything. Ceratopsians are the one group that should have a short tail. They often do, but their center of mass is more forward-leaning like that. So anyway, so again, this guy is, I think, it's the biggest of my Einiosaurus. Close for second than this one, Well, actually, no, that one's even smaller. So the collectate's even smaller. So here are my 4 Einiosaurus. Now, who do they live with? It's found in what we call Montana, the 2 Medicine Formation. And so dinosaurs that are found in the same strata would be our good friend Maiasaurus, the first dinosaur with a feminine name, good mother lizard. And the figure is actually out of date. It is a Safari 1995. And so, actually, so the year they named this one, this toy was made. No connection really, but Hypacrosaurus, this is a 2004 Safari. So this animal, I've only seen this one model of it. No one else makes Hypacrosaurus figures, so they're not as exciting. Their cousins, Cretosaurus, are far more popular. As far as horned dinosaurs, there's one here, and it's 2009 Collect A. It's a ACHELOS, OUS, AURUS. So I pronounce it Einiosaurus. It's a really weird name. It has to do more with with mythology in Europe kind of thing. And so anyway, it's from North America though, but they have this kind of, they're very, not similar, but, well, to Collect A. They have the same kind of, this structure here. This guy's a different boss on the front. And so as far as Ankylosaurs, we have the Uplocephalus, which is 2000 and no year. So it's a company called Battan, Battan. It's from Target. That's just where I got it. I don't see it there anymore, but that was where I first found this. There's the Edmontus and Montonia, which is 2010 Collect A. A Nodosaur, known for not having the club, having bigger shoulder spikes. And as far as the predators go, it was name checked to have a Daspletosaurus. This is a Daspletosaurus from 2001 Safari. I got this from Dinosaur Park in Bastrop. They're ordering, they're how to get toys from them online, their website. I have in comments below. So the Daspletosaurus is essentially the precursor to Tyrannosaurus Rex. I've done a video on that already on Sky already. And so, it's like this is the Campanian time period. Up here's the Maastrichtian with the Triceratops, Ankylosaurus, T-Rex, all those guys. And so Gorgosaurus has been known from the area. This is a Papo Gorgosaurus figure. Actually, my favorite, I think, of my Gorgosaurs. And finally, we have what we used to call Troodon. This is a walking dinosaurs Troodon, basically. And I picked the small one for scale, for the most part. So in general, what we call the 2 Medicine Formation has these animals here. So this is who Einiosaurus would have woke up and seen. They wouldn't have seen a Triceratops ever. They wouldn't have seen, definitely not a Brachiosaurus. Like, the animals of Jurassic have died and fossilized by this point 75 million years ago. So that's kind of to point out that we think about dinosaurs as a collective, but the joke is, or story is that T-Rex is closer to us than it is to like Stegosaurus. Well, this is towards the late Cretaceous, not the end Cretaceous, the late Cretaceous. And so these guys, while they're living, not only is Brachiosaurus and Stegosaurus dead and fossilized, but even Deinonychus in Montana, Montana, same state. Even Acrocanthosaurus here in Texas, those guys have already died and been fossilized. In fact, Spinosaurus 100 million years ago in North Africa has died and been fossilized by the time these guys lived. So it's kind of a fun fact to look at the time period. And if you want to know more about time periods, I will put a link below to show where Einiosaurus lived. It's the Cretaceous page. There's 6 different sections. You can click on one. He's from Campania, of course, the second to last of the Cretaceous. So that is the overview of this animal. A very short video by comparison, but again, it's a very short little dinosaur. But I think it's just neat, and like no one knows it exists. There are a lot of 3-horned ceratopsians that look like Triceratops, but are not Triceratops. This guy has a very distinctive look, and like no one knows it exists. Probably because it's only found in Montana, and probably because their skeletons are only found in the museum in Montana. So maybe that's why they're not as popular, but know about them, appreciate them. And I hope with this toy coming out in Jurassic World, you'll see more of this animal in media and so on and so forth. That being said, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, like, ring the bell, all of the above. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys.